Hello, and thank you for watching this video about my conceptual math project. The book that I decided to highlight was 100 Hungry Ants, and it is written by Eleanor J. Pinches and illustrated by Bonnie McCain. I think that it is an excellent book to introduce arrays into a classroom. And the grade level that I chose to highlight was third grade because it is this grade that they start to really learn about arrays and multiplication. So just a brief summary of the book. It is about 100 ants who are trying to get to a picnic, and they're trying to discover the fastest and most efficient way they can get to the picnic before all the food is gone. So here's just a little excerpt so you can see some of the math that's presented in this story. 100 ants were singing and marching in a row. We're going to a picnic, a hey and Heidi ho. And you can see that in this picture, there's 100 ants and they're in one row. So 1 times 100, that's 100 ants. Stop, said the littlest ant, we're moving way too slow. Some food will be long gone unless we hurry up. So, with 2 lines of 50, we'd get there soon, I know. All the ants raced here and there, up, down, to and fro. There'll be lots of yummies for our hungry tummies, a hey and Heidi ho. 100 ants were singing and marching in 2 rows. We're going to a picnic, a hey and Heidi ho. And so as you can see from this picture, they're in 2 rows of 50 ants each, so 2 times 50 equals 100. And I would have students be doing these multiplication sentences as we read the book, and the book continues on until they get to the picnic. So the mathematical content that I'm teaching is numbers in operation or number sense, and the particular practice that I'm striving for is practice number 2, which is I can think about numbers in many different ways, and they're going to also be using communication to share their ideas with their peers and modeling as well. So the standards that I decided to use were from the Operation Algebra standard, and one was interpret products of whole numbers as total numbers of objects in groups and objects for each group. And so my standard, or my objective rather, was with guidance from the instructor, students will collectively be able to describe all arrays of ants found in the story 100 Hungry Ants as multiplication sentences. So that's kind of what I did when I was reading the story. And then students will be able to illustrate the answer to a word problem by giving the instructor using 4 different arrays with 50% accuracy. So I present a word problem and then they construct an array based on that. And that goes with the Operation Algebra standard. Use multiplication and division within 100 to solve word problems in situations involving equal groups, arrays, and measurement quantities. So the materials that I'm going to be using to conduct this lesson are a glue stick, a marker, and then for the activity, the poster board. And I'll also be using things in my classroom like the chalkboard and the book, of course. So what students would be doing was, after they read the story, I posed the word problem. If there were only 24 ants in the colony rather than 100, what would an array look like? And they'd have to construct 4 different ones. So for the purposes of an example, I have constructed an array. As you can see, they use puffballs. So my first array has 6 rows and 4 puffballs in each row, so that's 24. And then my second array has 2 rows with 12 puffballs in each, so still 24. And like I said, students would be doing this 4 times, and then they would have a chance to come up and show the class. The essential question that I asked during this lesson was, how can an array be represented as a multiplication problem? Or vice versa, how can this multiplication problem be represented as an array? And I really like this lesson. I think it's good for students who are first learning about arrays and multiplication, and I think this book accurately highlights it. And I think that this book would be an excellent addition to any math lesson regarding arrays. Thank you very much.